Let's
I
check.
don't see it on there.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you, Lynn. All right, so we're recording and we went over the bones of the pelvis and the sacrum. So as you take your seat right now, you can drop your attention down into the pelvis, how it meets the surface beneath you. And also you might notice in the pelvis how the skin meets that surface. And see if you feel like the two sides, how they differ. If you feel a difference in the two sides, how they differ. And lengthening your spine up towards the sky. And begin to deepen your breathing. So dropping into your Ujjayi breath. And we were just remembering that in regards to Ujjayi and this season of Vata in Ayurveda, that we want the Ujjayi to be a gentle sound. But we still want the breath to be smooth. And we're balancing the inhale with the exhale. So a 1-to-1 ratio of your inhale to your exhale.
Mm.
And if you drop your attention into your heart space, and then below the heart, where the diaphragm is, how the diaphragm attaches on the undersurface of all your ribs. And with the inhale, can you drop your attention into that space of the diaphragm and notice if you can feel the rib cage, the diaphragm reach out like the rays of the sun from the center into all those, that whole underside of your rib cage. And then on the exhale, what's happening on the exhale? See if you can feel any rising action that's coming from deep inside your body. And maybe you notice at least the diaphragm doming up on the exhale. All right. On the bottom of your next exhale, release any control on your breath. Join your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. And this morning, I hope you'll join me in singing Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu, the chant, that whole chant, in that spirit of remembering. Together, may we be protected. Together, may we be nourished. May our practice have great energy, and may it bring brilliance or light to dispel any darkness. And may we not hate one another. May we practice with kindness and love toward ourselves and toward others. Taking a deep inhale. Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavari Tamastu Ma Vivyashavai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. With your next exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. And then release your hands and lift your gaze. All right, so to start this morning, I want to open up the backs of the legs, the backs of the calves. And so let's come up to standing. And you're going to walk over and find a spot at the wall. And once you find a spot at the wall, let's take the right foot forward and the left foot back. And we're going to let's make the feet point straight ahead, the back foot pointed straight ahead towards the wall. Walk your hands up your wall. Reach back into the left heel. And then you're going to bring the right knee forward. So we're opening up the back of the calf. But can you also notice as you reach from the back of the pelvis, you can reach all the way back from the inner left hamstring through the back of the left calf, all the way to the left heel. And see if with the left heel, that is the left heel, really broaden the left heel, back of the left heel, keeping that grounded. And also draw your attention up towards the back of your sacrum. The back, let's say on the left side, the left SI joint, the back of the left SI, all the way to the left outer greater trochanter. Can you notice that? Is it narrow or broad? All right, and then we'll slide the hands down the wall. Let's step the right foot back, left foot forward, second side. So as you begin to come into this, notice the right foot is pointing straight ahead towards the wall as well as the left. And then notice the center of the back right heel. And broaden the back of the heel. Walk the hands up the wall. And from the back of the right glute, reach all the way back into the right heel. At the back of the right glute, reach all the way back into the back of your right heel. So from the back of the glute, the back of the right sit bone, the inner right hamstring, all that way back to the heel. I want to notice that the back of my right heel is narrow. So I'm going to just let that broaden, allow it to broaden. And I'm going to travel back up, go up to your right SI, over to the right greater trochanter. And notice if that is narrow. And see if you can, broaden that space as well. Reach back. All right, and then we'll step the left foot back to meet the right. We'll make both feet parallel. And let's just take the arms, probably the wrists at about the height of the shoulders. And then we'll take the hips back. So I'm just a half Uttanasana here. I'm reaching into my hands. Okay, and then we're gonna step toward the wall. And then can we do one more thing with the wall? Let's take a block. And then with your yoga block, grab my glasses so I can see better. You're gonna put the yoga block on the narrow setting at the upper inner thigh. Take the feet about 12, 16 inches away from the wall. So the feet are probably wider because of the width of the block. And then we're gonna bow forward. Hands are gonna come to the inner elbows. And the sit bones are sliding up the wall. And I don't want my block to be in the way of my connection of my sit bones to the wall. So if the block's in the way, move it a little bit so you get a better idea of how So you get a sense of how do the sit bones connect to the wall. And what's the difference in the two sides of how the sit bones meet the wall? What's the difference between your right and your left side? Does one sit bone, you feel more contact to the wall than the other one? I'm releasing the head as well. I'm not holding my head up, only when I'm trying to talk to you guys so you can hear me better. But you yourself, please let your head dangle down. And can you be curious about what in the pelvis, where is it holding, that's not allowing that one sit bone to find the wall as easily? Where is that place that feels like there's a little hold there, and maybe you can even release it. You go, I wonder if this is it, and you maybe let go a little and see what happens. All right, and then we're going to take our hands to the wall, right about the level of the hips, and just press yourself forward away from the wall for a moment. And then we'll shift the hands up to the hips and come all the way up to standing. You can take your block out and sit the block off to one side or out of the way. All right. And then let's just come to standing and go back to your mat if you're not on your mat. And when you get there, let's inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, lift both arms. Exhale your hands back in Anjali Mudra, back home, back in front of the heart. And again, inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, hands back in Anjali Mudra. Inhale again, lift both arms. And we're going to exhale to chair pose, Utkatasana. So the weight back in the heels, knees as wide as the ankles. Good. And then we'll bow forward, knees are bent. Let's shift the hands to the hips and inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, hands, Anjali Mudra. So, all right, release that. Step the feet wide apart. We're going to take side angle pose. So turning, we'll go to your right first. So your right foot turns all the way out, and on the back leg, your left, drop the left heel back farther. Right foot straight ahead, left heel drops back. A block or whatever you need at the right outer shin. And inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, side angle, Parshvakonasana. So as you reach into the left outer heel of your back leg, from the inner heel, broaden from the inner heel to the outer heel. And notice up at the left SI, from the SI joint all the way around to the ASIS, to that upper inner pelvic point. Keep that broad, even as you turn the torso. How do you do that? How do you stay broad and reaching into the back heel? Turn the torso towards the sky without narrowing or pinching at the back sacroiliac joint. So your left ASIS comes a little forward. Do you notice when you let that come forward, some length and ability to reach through the side body of that skyward side of your body? And then we're going to inhale, come up. and take the second side. Let's step the feet together just for a sec so we get these landmarks. Let's make sure. So ASIS, those two little hip points, is the one I was talking about from the SI. How does that wrap? Okay. So second side, stepping the feet apart, taking the left foot, turning it out, and dropping the back heel back farther. A block or whatever. Inhale the arms out. And exhale, Parshvanasana, side angle. So I could go from the crest of the pelvis on your right and reach all the way to the outer right heel. I could broaden all the way from the inner right heel to the outer right heel. And then reaching from the crest of the pelvis all the way up through that skyward side of your rib cage. Inhale, come up. Make your feet parallel. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So if you know that your hamstrings are tight, then bring your blocks forward so that you've got those. And then with the feet wide apart, take your hands up on your hips. Lift up to the top of the breastbone. And exhale, bow forward. Okay, so your hands are going to come down to either blocks or the ground. And I'm going to reach. Can you go ahead and notice where the sit bones are? Where are the sit bones? Let's walk the arms forward, downward dog arms. Here, so reach the arms out in front of you. They could still be on blocks or they might just be on the floor. Can I broaden the inner sit bones away from each other? Take your inner sit bones away, reach all the way down to the heels. Drop back into your Ujjayi breathing. Again, the Ujjayi being smooth and balanced. A smooth and balanced breath as you elongate toward the hands and the rib cage toward the pelvis. Let's see. And are your hands on blocks, Carol? I can't tell. But if they're not, they are? Okay, great. Great. And then you're going to just broaden the sit bones, the inner sit bones away from each other. Yeah. All right. And then let's walk the hands back so that the wrists are under the shoulders. And again, they might be on blocks. If my hamstrings are tight, I'm going to use my blocks, right? And then you're going to take your right hand into the space between the two. We're going to take a twist. Let's take the left hand up on the hip to start. Let's stay connected from the right sit bone all the way down to the right heel. And then you're twisting towards your left. Because we're keeping the pelvis stable. Lengthen through the spine. Sometimes when we twist, right now you're twisting towards your left, sometimes we shorten the left side. So don't shorten the left side of your body. So from that left side of the pelvis, lengthen all the way up through the crown of your skull. And then we're going to turn back towards the ground. Switch your hands. So your left hand comes to midline. Right hand comes up on the hip. You're going to reach all the way into the left heel and start to turn towards your right. And just notice, is the spine still reaching long at the midline? That you didn't shorten between the right ASIS and your side ribs. You're not side bending, you're twisting. Exhale back to center. Shift the hands up to the hips. And inhale, come up. We'll step the feet together. And take mountain pose for a moment. Okay. All right, and then we're going to take triangle pose. Let's go to your left. So you'll have a block. And we'll take the block to your left. I should be mirroring you. Your left outer ankle or heel at any height. Both legs are going to be straight. And on the back foot, let's make sure that the back heel is dropped back. That it's not parallel with the edge of the mat right now. Because we want to make space for the SI on that back, your back right there. So take that right heel and drop it back. Left foot straight ahead. Inhale, take the arms out. And exhale. Pelvis is moving away from the front leg. You might bring the right hand on the hip to start. And can you lengthen all the way out? The left inner thigh, all the way down into the left foot, front leg. So I noticed in my own body that I just noticed that I had more weight on my outer front heel. And when I lengthened out the inner thigh, what happened was I felt a shift in my pelvis away from my front leg. And see if you're holding anywhere there. So that the back of the right SI, the back of the right pelvis, is broad. And it stays broad when I keep the weight balanced in my feet and turn my rib cage back towards the sky. I might add the arm. And once again, I can go, is my spine long? Where's the weight in my hips? All right, and then we're going to inhale, come up. And move the feet for your second side. So right leg forward, left foot back. When you're ready, inhale the arms out. And exhale up and over the front leg. So pelvis, that's it, Ellie. Pelvis keeps moving, doesn't it? There you go. Yep. Yeah, that was good. Colleen, good. Great. Yeah. So reaching out the right inner thigh all the way down into the right foot. So what's happening is the weight balanced in the right front heel? Or do you feel more weight at the right outer heel? So balance the weight. When you balance the weight in that front heel, what happens in the hip joint on the right? How does the pelvis move? And what's going on with the left SI right now? Is it broad? Can you find the left heel, the back foot? And you might, I don't know, Rami, if I'm saying your name right, but turn your back foot in just a little more Towards the left. Yeah, okay, great. Now just, is there a difference that you feel at the back of the left side? Cool, because from here, it does look like you got a little more space there, which didn't change your ability to rotate up to the sky. Yeah, great. That's it, Lise. So that's it. Yeah, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, everyone. That's great. Inhale, come on up. And then we'll exhale, step the feet back together. And just noticing in mountain pose, where's the weight falling in your feet? How is the weight? Is there more weight on one leg than the other? Is the weight back in the heels? If you feel there's more weight toward your toes, shift the pelvis slightly back. Let the toes be relaxed on the floor. It's an interesting experiment, really. And it's an interesting experience to notice, right, Anne Bromley? I mean, those of us who tend to put more weight to the outer heel, and you might even notice, Anne, a difference. If we balance the weight between the inner heel and the outer heel, what happens at the back of your sacrum? If all the weight is to the outer heel, what's going on about the space at the back of the pelvis and sacrum? All right, so now let's inhale, lift both arms. We're headed towards Utkatasana, chair pose. So here, again, I can notice, where's the weight falling in my feet? Excellent. All right, and then we'll exhale and inhale, come up. Release both arms. Let's grab your blocks, bring them towards the top of your yoga mat. All right, and inhale, lift both arms, Utkatasana. Exhale, chair, Utkatasana. Take your time. Notice where the weight is as you come into your chair pose. Your next exhale, bow towards the ground. Hands can find blocks. Inhale, straighten the legs, open up the backs of the knees. Exhale, step the right foot back. So I'm going to balance the weight in the hips. Balance the weight in your hips. And we might remember from way back, we kind of did this at the beginning of the pandemic, way back in March, that the pelvis, if we're going to reach into the ground with the front heel and reach all the way back from the right inner sit bone to the right inner heel, we'll feel the pelvis turn a very slight amount to the right. And then working on this transition, remaining grounded, connected through both the front heel and the back. You're coming upright. Arms can either be wide or up alongside the ears. Then we're going to inhale the arms out. Exhale, airplane. So I'm still reaching back. There we go. And then the hands come down. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, left foot back. And again, just checking in with all those things. The right heel, the inner left hamstring all the way back to the left inner heel. And then when you're ready, transition yourself, upright lunge. Your next inhale, arms out. Exhale, bow forward. We're going to step to plank pose. So we've been working a lot on the strength of the arms, that tone in the belly. So taking a deep inhale, and with the next exhale, back to downward facing dog. Use the inhale to come to plank. The exhale, downward facing dog. And keep going with this. So just back to downward dog, and you're going to do 2 more. Steady with the arms. Inhale to plank. The next exhale, lightly touch the knees down. And exhale, bring your chest down. So palms are along the side body on the ground. Tops of the knees are on the floor. So the thighs, in other words. All right, so let's inhale to a cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, all fours. And exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. Can I let go of the space if I'm in downward dog? Those of you in downward facing dog, release the pubic bone back. Release the pubic bone away from the inner thigh. And then if we're in downward dog, we're going to go ahead and bring the knees down. Those of you in child's pose are going to come upright. And then we're going to all get a blanket just to put underneath the knees. And we're going to crawl up on that blanket, grab your blocks. Let's open the front of the thigh. So we'll step left foot forward, right knee back. I'm going to let the left knee go forward of the left ankle. I'm going to pull my blocks back. They're tall. I'm going to pull them back. So as you release through the top of the right thigh, that you find a little tone to help to support the front of the right hip, a little tone in the belly between the right pubic bone, the right inner hip. And on the front leg, between the left pubic bone and the left inner thigh, did you let go right there, or were you holding on? And we can become more subtle about some of our practice. All right, and then we're going to switch sides. Left knee back, right foot forward. right knee forward of the right ankle. So softening through the middle of the left quad, the lower left thigh, letting that go. But keeping a little tone at the front of the left hip. Release right pubic bone from the right inner thigh. And relax the shoulders. All right, one more breath there. And then we're going to exhale, release that, and take downward facing dog. And you might, notice like what is different about this downward facing dog. Since you just opened the front of the hips, maybe you feel a difference in the pelvis and its relationship to the legs. All right, and then we're going to bring both knees down, walk the hands back, and we're going to take gate pose, Paragasana. So with this, I'm going to have one blanket that's going to be for my knee that I'm standing on. And I'm going to stand, let's stand on your, if I'm going to keep mirroring you, you're going to be on the left leg, I'll be on the right. Now I'm going to take probably another blanket or a bolster out to your right. That's going to be for your right foot, unless you have, really flexible ankles. If when you step your right leg back, if your right foot, as it goes out there, if the ankle's flexible enough that you feel you can really reach the foot all the way to the ground, then you don't need any support. For me, I can reach it there, but it doesn't allow me to have some congruity in my legs. So I like to have a little support. Some of you will need more than others. We're going to have the left hip over the top of the right knee. Not the right knee. Left hip over the left knee. This leg, the leg that's out, your right leg is turned all the way up towards the sky. I'm going to have a block behind that leg. So you'll have a block behind the straight leg. So we can go back. Let's remember where the ASIS is of the leg that you're standing on, that knee you're standing on. Because just like you did in side angle, triangle, and now gate pose, Paragasana, you're going to, when we go side bend, I don't want you to feel like you have to hold this back. You're going to allow the pelvis, again, to move away from the straight leg. Okay? So let's inhale, lift the left arm up. And then as you exhale, take the pelvis away from the leg that's straight. Your right hand can come to a block. And then I notice I'm like, okay, so there I am. What now? Now I'm going to take that, your left ASIS and let it come a little more into the front plane of you. Because when it comes into that front plane, you're going to feel a better ability to be able to move. And then from the SI joint on that back, left outer hip, reach all the way up, all the way through the side. Keep going. And then inhale, come up. All right, Second side. So you can either turn around or you could move your props, whatever works for you. Use your dog. Oh, you're not helping. All right, so now you're going to be standing over the right knee. So you're going to line up right hip with right knee. Left leg goes out. Rooting all the way down through the left leg. Take the block behind you. Okay. And then when you're ready, let's inhale, pick up the right arm. And as you exhale, just like triangle, side angle, you're taking the pelvis away from the straight leg. And then, are you holding your right ASIS back towards the SI joint on that side? Can you broaden from the back of the pelvis, back of the sacrum, wrapped all the way forward? Breathing. That's it, Rami. I think you could even let the right SI go a little more into the front plane of your body. Yep, like you're gonna, there you go, keep going, keep reaching. Yep, walk your left hand out a little farther and your block out a little farther. Let your torso a little bit broaden through the back of the right SI, other direction, toward the mat a little bit, towards the ground in front of you. And keep going. There you go, you're getting it. Yeah, so feel the back of the right SI. That's it. And Ellie, that looks good. You could come forward a little, Ellie. That's it, Lise. You got it. There, Ellie. Now. There you go. Good. Great, everyone. Okay. Thank you. Wow, Lise. What went on there, Lise? You like, can you believe it? Huh? You found something, didn't you? You let go of something you've been holding on to. That is really cool. Congratulations. All right, thanks for that. Okay, so now let's go back. Can we visit another downward facing dog? At this downward dog, what is the space like at the back of the pelvis? All right, and then we're going to bring both knees to the ground and walk the hands back. All right. Can we take, for some of you, we're going to do pigeon. Some of you, pigeon won't feel right on your knees. So if pigeon isn't the right pose for you, then you're going to take the figure 4 where you lie on the back and take the right little toe side of the right foot to the top of the left thigh. Otherwise, I like to set up a blanket in front of me and my ankle's going to dangle off that blanket. Sometimes I even like using more blankets. So we could use even 2 blankets. Anyway, we're going to bring, if we're coming to pigeon, the right knee is going to go out to the right. The right knee is going out to the right. The left heel is somewhere probably between left pubic bone, left groin, left outer, kind of towards that ASIS area. So right knee to the side. So we're either in a figure 4 or we're in this pigeon where we're allowing the torso to come towards the floor. And then let's go to the space on the forward leg, on the bent knee, and the space from the pubic bone, that crease, all the way to the right greater trochanter. From the pubic bone, comes across the leg, all the way to the right greater trochanter. And I want to notice in that space, if I can find the midpoint and broaden from the midpoint, both directions. One towards the pubic bone, one towards the greater trochanter. And then we'll come out and we're either taking figure 4 on the second side, or we're going to take pigeon pose. Left knee out to the left, right foot towards groin, outer right ASIS. Those of you in the figure 4, as you take the little toe side of the left foot above the right knee, can you balance the weight? Put a little more weight to the right side of the sacrum. A little more weight to the right of the sacrum. Those of you in pigeon, finding that front hip crease from pubic bone to the greater trochanter. And find the midpoint. And then can you, from the midpoint of that crease, can you broaden both directions? Widen all the way toward the greater trochanter and also toward the pubic bone. Okay, and then all of us, you can release if you're in the figure 4. If you're in pigeon, you can release. And pigeon people, take a downward facing dog. And if you want to, figure 4 people, you can take downward dog, or you could also just take a moment of just lying in symmetry on your back with both feet on the floor. And if you're in that position, both feet on the floor, do you have room to reach the arms overhead? So if you're you're either in downward facing dog or you're lying on the ground on your back, you're centered from pubic bone, navel, throat, and you're just reaching arms straight overhead, palms toward the sky. One of those at the moment. All right, and then if you're in downward facing dog, bring the knees down. Okay, and we're going to want a strap. And we're gonna come onto your back. All of us are gonna come onto your back. And let's take the strap, and it could have a loop in it or not, but you're gonna bring the right foot into the strap and take the strap right in front of the right heel. And you can either grab onto your loop, or if you have just the tail, you'll just grab onto both ends of the strap here. And let's take the left leg straight out on the ground. So remember, at the beginning of class, and I said, don't forget about the lining on the inside of the pelvis. So right now, If you bring your felt sense into the space that's on the inside of the right ilia, and let go of any holding on that inner space. Release that lining on the inside of the right ilia. All that weight goes down. You might have noticed that your right leg, maybe it came closer to your face. Okay, now let's take the strap in your left hand. So you can grab onto both ends and right arm out to the side. So keeping space at the back of the right ribs, all the way to the crest of the pelvis on the right. And let's just keep the sacrum on the ground. So right side of the sacrum's grounded. And you're going to bring the right leg, towards midline. So the right side of the sacrum still grounded. And I want to check in with again and see if there's any holding on the inside of the pelvis, that inner lining. Release any holding there. When I do, maybe you notice the right leg went a little closer toward your face. Maybe you felt it go a little bit more up and left. Okay, and then we'll bring that leg back up to center. You can take the strap off, right foot on the ground, bring the left leg up. Let's take the strap on the left foot in front of the left heel. Take the right leg out. There's vertical. So we can hold it in vertical for a moment. And release the inside of the pelvis, that inner lining, that inner fascial glide space. And then we're going to take the strap in the right hand, left arm out to the side. Start to take the left leg just towards midline. We want to keep the left side of the sacrum on the ground. So this is the leg moving, not the sacrum moving. We're keeping that sacrum grounded. All right, and then we'll take that leg back to vertical. And then let's take, we can take the foot out of the strap. And then can we take the strap? We won't need the loop. So you just have your big, long strap. Bring both knees up. And you're going to take the strap around both feet. And then take the legs wide apart. So Upavista. Upavista Konasana. Sometimes I like to wrap the strap just around my hand. So I want to have top of the sacrum on the ground. But I'm also going to check in and see if there's any way that I can let go any more inside of the pelvis there. All right, and then I'm going to bring my legs together, bend my knees, take my strap off, and let's roll over to a side. Use your arms and push yourself up. And let's take, which one do we want to do here? Can we do, with this strap, can we take Matsyendrasana 2? So we're going to take left leg straight. Some of you might need to sit on a blanket. Right foot to the left inner knee. If there's space between my leg and the ground, then I'll slide a blanket or something in there just to take up that space. I'm going to take my strap. I still have a little loop in there, so I'm going to take that little loop. I'm going to put it over the straight leg and then around the bent knee hip. Reach straight leg arm behind to grab the strap. And then I'm reaching my other arm forward to grab the strap straight ahead towards my foot. And you're twisting toward the straight leg. And I'm going to bring my attention to the back of the sacrum on the straight leg side. And can you begin to release any holding at the back of the sacrum on the straight leg side, that back of the sacrum. Release any holding. Allow yourself to be turned by letting go. All right, and then we'll come back to center. Let's take the strap off and switch legs. And if I had support under one leg, I'm going to put support on the other side so that I'm going to support the symmetry. And take the strap over the straight leg and then take the tail. It goes around the bent knee side. The straight leg, that arm reaches back behind me, grabs onto the strap. The other arm reaches forward and grabs the strap somewhere. I'm twisting towards my straight leg. And can you put your attention into the back of the sacrum on the straight leg side and release any holding at the back of those little holes. Remember the little, the foramen at the back of the sacrum on the straight leg side. Let go, let them, can they get bigger? Can they open more? Can the nerves have more freedom to travel? As I am letting go there, do I find my body able to turn even a little more? Yeah, and sometimes I might even notice, oh, it's holding at a particular place on the sacrum. And I might be able to let go at a particular spot where that holding is happening. And so I put my felt sense there and I go, I wonder what happens if I let go here, like at the top of the right side. Top of the left sacrum. I let go there if I'm turning towards my left. Okay, and then you're going to come back to center and take both legs straight, please. Both legs straight out in front of you. And go ahead and just give the knees a little rub in this Dandasana. Okay. All right. And so we're going to set up for Shavasana. I'll give you one idea, but you don't need to do this idea. If this is completely makes your back really grumpy, don't do this one. If you're having low back pain, then you probably want to have the back on the ground. And you might even put the legs up on something because that can relieve the low back. But if low back pain is not one of your concerns today, then you could take one of your blankets, fold it in half lengthwise, and put that on your mat. And you could take a second blanket and make a little pillow. That's going to go under the head. Now, blankets can have all different thicknesses, right? So for some of us, we might go, wow, that bottom blanket, I could actually have another one on there. So you get to decide. When you come down, though, you're going to sit in front of we're going to have the legs straight for this. And you're going to make sure the sacrum is not pinned against that blanket, that there's space. And then you'll come down, give yourself some good head support, and you might take Shavasana here. Otherwise, some of you might have more support under the legs rather than under the spine. And I'm sure some of you have lots of different ideas on what is a great supported Shavasana for you. So please feel free to take that. In your Shavasana, you're welcome to, if you wear glasses, remove your glasses. And then you'll allow your breath to begin to deepen. And just gently bringing movement back to your body. And make a mindful transition over to one side. And then using the support of your arms, press yourself back up to sitting. And place your hands in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your practice. If you have any questions about anything, or if there's anything you want to say, you're welcome to do that.